Welcome to the Texas Values Report. This is Jonathan Sines, president of Texas Values. Great to be with you on a glorious week in the state of Texas. I'm here in our new studio. This is an in-house studio for Texas Values. I want to say Valerie because Valerie Swanson, Representative Swanson, is going to be our guest today. She's going to be the very first guest that we're streaming and we're recording and we're live on Facebook in the new in-house studio for Texas Values. I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show. Excuse me, it seems I didn't finish my lunch earlier. Isn't that great when you're just live? You feel things, on your cheek and your mouth. Wonderful. I'll take a closer look in the bathroom next time before I go live. But this is not about hygiene. This show is about faith, family, and freedom, and about the courts, the legislature, and the media. We've been doing this show for over 4 years, close to 5 years running now, and we're excited to take things into the next generation. But some things never change when it comes to Texas Values, and that's doing the work on the ground, and there's been a lot of that work this week, and that's why we've got a great guest this week. Valerie Swanson is a state representative from the greater Houston area. She has been serving in the legislature for many years, but serving in her community for decades. And so it's great when I see members that come into the legislature we've worked on issues before, and to also see them now represent constituents. Representative Swanson, welcome back to the Texas Values Report.
Thank you, Jonathan, and hello to all your followers.
Absolutely. So if you're watching us on Facebook, like it, share it, put it in groups. We're going to go on for about 20, 25 minutes. Representative Swanson's going to stay with us for a bulk of that, and then I've got some commentary on that. But we've got really some breaking and up-to-date information because you and I and many others were a part of a very long Texas House hearing earlier this week. Many people know one of the key issues on the special session call by Governor Abbott is the Save Women's Sports Bill. And it's very simple. Biological boys should not be competing in sports. This relates in the high school level. And the bill, all the bill does is say that when it comes to sports, you look at the birth certificate closest at birth. As I say it, the bill is about making sure when you're involved in athletics, everybody plays by the same rules.
Absolutely, Jonathan. I really appreciate you and Texas Values bringing me this bill probably about a year ago, and we've all been working on it ever since, and it has been a very, very timely issue. When we first started pushing this in the legislature back in January, people were not that familiar with it and didn't think it was happening much, but as it became an issue worldwide and in many other states, it has really picked up the number of people who are just demanding that we get something done to protect our girls in UIL sports.
Well, and look, speaking of UIL, there was a representative from UIL. This is the University Interscholastic League. Essentially, this is a state agency, a state entity, a group of individuals that set policies and rules as it relates to extracurricular activities. It's a long word, in the state of Texas, and more so for sports. That's what people think about it, but there are other things that they cover as well. And they had someone testify. They have continued to receive an increase in calls and messages, in inquiries, in requests as it relates to people trying to change their birth certificate. There is no question that in the state of Texas, we have seen a dramatic increase in people trying to change their birth certificate, trying to transition, so to speak, from male to female. And we see across the country, there is a growing concern. There are documented cases, including in the state of Texas, where you have these situations happening where you have biological boys or men that are competing in women's sports. And in some cases, you've had situations where people have lost opportunities, they've lost races. There's been a real price to pay for some people. But before the problem has gotten any worse and really just gotten much more to a point where you can't control it, we're in a position to do something. So I want to reset things for people. The Texas Senate has passed a version of this bill numerous times. I've testified on it. Members of our committee, hundreds of people have gone to hearings. The Texas House has yet to bring a bill like this to the floor. And really the struggle is getting out of committee. So a new committee took up this issue. The Constitutional Rights and Remedies Committee, that's chaired by Representative Trent Ashby, had a really productive hearing the other night that ended about 10:30 or 11. And so the bill got voted out of committee. So now we're headed to the House floor. This is House Bill 25. And, there's about a week and a half left in the special session. But Representative Swanson, I think there's enough time to get this done.
Absolutely. It's a short amount of time, but it is enough time. The speaker assures us that we still have enough time. There are a lot fewer rules on deadlines in the special session, as you know, and we can get things done very quickly. And the Senate has assured us that if we get it over there, they will vote it out quickly and send it to the governor.
Well, and look, we've had so many women that have come forward that have testified in the House, in the Senate, that have made the case very strong. You've seen parents come to these committee hearings. Our organization has had over 55,000 messages sent through our system just this year, telling Texas House and Senate members that they support legislation like this. You've got a majority of the House members, just about every Republican. There are beliefs that even some Republicans will support this on the House floor. And so everything's lining up really well for this to finally get done. And it's likely this might be the last special session. But, look, for the left, the liberals, if you will, it doesn't matter if it's the heartbeat law, if it's election integrity, if it's border security, if it's protecting boys, having laws that protect girls from having boys play in their sports. All of those issues, they're really sort of aligned against them. And so it would make sense that people that see this as a common sense issue would also stand together. And it's really one of the last few things left from the regular session, but definitely important. And I think all of that lines up to really the best opportunity we've had to make sure we put a very simple bill, but an important bill in law.
You're absolutely right, Jonathan. We are probably the number one bill that will be taken up next week on Tuesday is the redistricting map for the Texas House. And of course, then we'll have to send that to the Senate. The Senate will send us their version, or they already have. We'll vote on their version of that. But I'm very hopeful that this bill, House Bill 25, will be on the floor to be voted on next Wednesday. That's not set yet, but I would urge all your listeners to please write your legislator, write the governor, the speaker, and ask them to do whatever it takes to get this bill passed this time.
Well, look, I'm going to ask people to do two things. Okay, number one, I say send an email to the Constitutional Rights and Remedies Committee and thank you. The ones that supported it, tell them thank you for helping this bill get it forward. And then reach out to your representative and the governor and the speaker as well. We know the governor's consistently put this on the call, but there's been a lot of question about as it relates to Speaker Phelan because this bill hasn't passed the House. So I think a message of encouragement to the speaker and showing, hey, we're behind you. There's a lot of support for this. I think it goes a long way. And sometimes people forget that. I'm going to tell you, the left is going to ratchet things up and they're going to turn the volume up between now and next week. Because they know if this bill passes the House, the Senate's going to get it done. And so they're going to call out all their friends. They're going to come out, pull all the bags of tricks out. We have got to stand together on a common sense issue. And I think there are a lot of Democrats that are with us that if this bill goes to the floor in the Texas House, you'll see them vote in favor of it as well. I saw you got some good support, yesterday after the bill passed and we all, caught our breath. Congressman Chip Roy sent out some good stuff on social media. Senator Don Buckingham, I saw, had a post. A lot of people are really, giving you some support and encouragement online. And that's the kind of momentum and activity we need to see more of.
You're right, Jonathan. Many times the other side that's against us has money that backs them, whether it's doctors or whether it's whatever, special interest groups. So we have to really, really raise our voice as the grassroots and make this a very high profile bill and ask, like you say, respectfully, but really, really urge that it get done this session. And by the way, the end of the session is the 19th. We don't have much time. So
yeah, but you're talking
like
about
your thought.
Keep going.
I was just going to say, I like your thought about thanking the members of the Constitutional Rights and Remedies Bill Committee. And by the way, you can find all this stuff on Texas Legislature online. It's got everything you ever want to know about any bill, any committee. But too often we forget to thank people. and we just attack for what we don't get. And so you had very timely words there.
Well, and look, you and I sat through the whole committee hearing. A lot of people testified. It's not the first hearing that's happened in the House. There's been others. The Senate's had a lot. And we've consistently seen young women, we've seen parents, we've seen, people from a lot of different backgrounds, people that are Democrats and liberals, right, that have come forward in support of this legislation. And so, and that's the heart of it, right? You care about people. You care about protecting
Right.
women, protecting girls. There is a legitimate concern. UIL couldn't even tell us the full scope of the problem, right? They're getting all these calls. They couldn't even give an exact number. And so before this gets out of control, I think we have a great opportunity. And you spend time. I mean, there was an Idaho legislator that came here. There's no question that this impacts other people's lives, and it will impact them negatively if we don't do something about it. And even though this bill's about high school, that also could impact their ability to play sports in college or get scholarships to advance their education.
You're right. We hope to get that added, or at least by next legislative session, to protect the college girls. But just saying it's not okay in high school and junior high will help. There won't be a bunch of biological males who've been playing on the girls' sports to come and fill those spots, and unless they come from other states. So it sets a standard, and I think that we've accomplished a lot, and we are hearing from all over the country that they are counting on Texas, because this will set the standard and help it get passed in other states.
Well, there's no question, and Texas won't be the first state. There are 8, I think maybe 9 states that have done this already. There are over 30 that have considered it. A lot of activity on this issue. And sort of that old, conflict has been renewed now that Biden is in the White House. He's put out some things suggesting that their policy would really attack these type of common sense policies that we're trying to pass in Texas. And look, without this in law, I think everyone would agree. I mean, that's really what's been done in sports all along, right? You have to produce a birth certificate. That is incredible. There's nothing new about this. This bill just makes it clear that in case there's any confusion, you use the birth certificate nearest at birth. I mean, I think the bill's like a page and a half long, right? I mean, it's really short and simple. That's all we're doing here. All these other arguments people are bringing up really have nothing to do with this. And you've got support from people in the LGB community, right? Some lesbian and gay people that have testified and showed their support and said, look, we got to have a consistent standard. And that does benefit. And look, that means people that consider themselves transgender, they'll have a sport to play. They just have to play by the same rules as everybody else.
Exactly. That's so true. It even came up in the hearing, as you know, one particular, well, actually 2 lesbian members of the House who were speaking up there on the dais brought up about playing sports as lesbians. It helped them, accept themselves. And so I brought up these groups that you're talking about, Nationwide, Wolf, and others that are saying, wait a minute, lesbian girls in athletics don't want to get beat by biological males any more than anyone else does.
Yeah, I'm going to look this group up again just to make sure that I understand what the organization is or what it's called. Wolf. I mean, we've talked about it at hearings, but a lot of times people are not aware of it. I'm going to see if a member of my team can pull this up to remind me the name of the group. But they've been active on these issues a lot, and it shows the diversity of groups, if you will. This is let's see, Wolf stands for, y'all bear with me here. I'm going to pull it up on my phone, or maybe not. I'll grab it in just a second. Natalie, pull it up for me.
What, Ethan, do you remember what does it stand for?
And so this is a liberal organization that has come out in support. And they're not the only one. Then you've got people, the Save Women's Sports Movement, which is a bipartisan movement, and others that have come forward on these issues. And I don't want to make too much of that. I just want people to understand that there's a lot of broadness, if you will, to the support and it's become very bipartisan because I think it's common sense for a lot of folks. And so, look, and the key here now is let's get this bill to the floor. It's got to go through calendars. I don't think there should be any issues there, but get it to the floor. And once it gets to the floor, I think the majority of votes are going to be there. And I think people are going to realize we're not really doing a whole lot here, but enough to set a standard and make it clear. And so I'm going to read real quick. This is the group I was talking about is the Women's Liberation Front, and they're fighting at the front line of feminism. Okay. And so, that's not a group that I know all that well that are typically aligned on a lot of the issues. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just that way people can understand you've got a lot of folks from, you want to call it both different sides of the aisle or that are different, not usually connected on some of these issues, that they see common ground there. And I think that's important. I think that's a good sign that this legislation, it's the right time to get it done. And so, Representative Swanson, you're carrying this in the House, right? I know a lot of members have come to your support in aid, and I know you care about the issues. You've been up there for hours describing it, explaining it, and so some people are I know they're gonna try to tear you down. They're gonna try to come up with ways. But this issue, while you have been leading it, it really is about young women and really having fairness in sports. It's not about you, your team, even though they're doing a great job. It's about all these thousands of young ladies and women in the state of Texas that deserve this protection.
Absolutely, Jonathan. We have to protect the 332,000 girls in Texas that are playing sports. And then that's just currently. What about all the girls to come? We've got to stop this, set a standard, and say you must play by your biological sex, which is determined by the birth certificate.
That's right. That's right. Because there's been a report, there's been a 3,800% increase in requests by a state agency for there to be changes in birth certificates. I mean, the numbers are going through the roof. And so we're just going to see this issue, this problem get worse. We've got an opportunity now to solve it. It is interesting as we kind of conclude here for a second. You're seeing some business entities and others try to put out letters and, oh, this is going to hurt the economy. They've been saying that for years, whether it's the heartbeat law, election integrity, border security, and every year Texas comes out the best state for business. But I think it's ironic or just noteworthy, right? That on the same day they're trying to put this letter out saying, oh, all these businesses are going to leave Texas just, after we pass the heartbeat law and election integrity and border security, the legislature did. Here's Elon Musk and Tesla saying, we're moving to Austin. How's that working out for you? Okay. For the people that are trying to create this narrative, I mean, it just is, there's no truth to it. I mean, it's a paper tiger. It's, the boy crying wolf. I mean, they keep saying it and the opposite keeps happening. And so, and I think you see members too, starting to go, really sort of ignoring that argument, but they keep trying to make that argument and they keep getting presented with evidence that shows the complete opposite, and I don't want to make too much of that, but it will matter a lot to some extent in this discussion to point out the truth of what's really happening.
Absolutely. It has not hurt any of the states that have passed this so far, and the states are doing great economically. But one point I made when a Democrat on the committee brought that up in the hearing is not only do I not believe it will hurt our economy, but how can we even consider whether some billionaire has a few more dollars in their pocket if we're going to have to throw our girls across the state under the bus so that somebody can enrich themselves?
That's right. You can't put a price on this type of fairness, and we shouldn't be led to believe that that's relevant. And so it works well in this setting that it's not true to begin with, that Texas will continue to thrive, and they have for years when legislation that's common sense and conservative often in nature is passed, and that's reflected in our economy and more people continuing to want to move here. But it also is good to call out and say, we shouldn't even be suggesting that, though, that these things are for sale. Fairness, the safety and protection of women and young girls in the state of Texas is not for sale. It never should be. And we certainly wouldn't allow that on our watch. And I know Representative Swanson wouldn't. HB 25 goes a long way to make that clear. And so we encourage people to contact your legislators Let's get this bill done next week. It's coming to the floor. I don't know when, but I know that's what we're anticipating. Some work to do, but in the meantime, an opportunity to reach out to Representative Swanson, right? Calling all your friends, Representative Swanson. Let's get everybody together. We're proud of the work you're doing, and we believe in you, and we know you can make it happen.
Thank you, Jonathan, and thank you to everybody. And if you can't remember HB 25, just write everybody and ask them to save girls' sports. They'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing you on the floor next week with a lot more friends as we continue this momentum in the direction of getting HB 25 passed. And State Representative Valerie Swanson has been our guest today on the Texas Values Report.
Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, as she moves along with her schedule, I'm going to do just a little bit of wrap up, a few minutes of wrap up. As I mentioned, I'm inside our new studio right here in our suite, 900 Congress. I could not be more excited. We've been working on this for months. All right. Now we've got some more details we're going to show you with our studio, but we're still working out a couple of kinks to get everything done. And as Representative Swanson checks out from our Zoom, we're going to continue the conversation for just another minute. And look, this is an appropriate time. It's never a bad time, in my opinion, but to consider a tax-deductible donation to Texas Values. We're working every day during the regular and special sessions of the Texas Capitol. We're trying to bring new and innovative technology with our new in-house studio so we can have better sound quality, better video quality. We can get more attention and information out to you through the technology we're using. We can reach more people so they can be equipped to know what's happening. I haven't even touched on what happened with the heartbeat law. All right, just so everyone knows, there was a court decision. There was a judge's ruling on the Texas heartbeat law, but the Texas heartbeat law is still in effect. People can still file lawsuits in federal court, even though the ruling primarily pertained to state court. Now, there was a ruling that halted the Texas heartbeat law in certain circumstances. It doesn't allow judges in state court and clerks to accept these type of lawsuits, which I don't even know that that's ever been done before, that we've had a law that says only like certain people in lawsuits can't even be filed. I mean, and I don't always think that it's that it's a benefit when people file things that that really don't have any merit to them. But that's how our system works. You don't get prevented from filing in court. You get to give it a shot, and then if you don't have a good argument to make, you're thrown out of court. But I'm not aware of really anything where you can't even go up to the clerk's office and say, I want to file this. That's how desperate, that's how far reaching that the court had to go. I mean, this is a bogus legal opinion. And really it feels like they came up with a decision and then they wrote an opinion to see how they could make it match up, because there's really no merit to it. And what else would you expect from an Obama appointee, right? To come with a decision like this, but it's far from over. We feel very confident that within the next day or so, if not earlier, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is going to reverse this decision. And I'm hearing it reported, Planned Parenthood at least, is still not performing abortions because they know the window's not really open for them. Here's the other thing about the Texas heartbeat law. It also works sort of retroactively that, you're held accountable to it and liable for your actions. Even if a judge has ruled against the law, if the judge later on appeal upholds the law, you're still liable for those things that happened during that time period. All right. And so because the law is in effect, it has not been struck down as unconstitutional. It went into effect on September 1. And so it's important for people to know that. And I think that's a good reason why Planned Parenthood has not resumed abortions, even though there's been some reports that other abortion entities, maybe one or two, have started doing that. But they're going to find themselves in a really tough spot that they're going to regret, in my opinion. But, you have to just think for a second how desperate and focused they are on taking life, that they're celebrating, oh, there's a court ruling. Let's rush over to the abortion facility and take a baby's life as soon as we can. I mean, it just is. I mean, it's breathtaking, right? Not to make too much of a pun. I mean, it stops your heart for a second, which is exactly what abortion does. Abortion stops a beating heart. And I find it interesting, if not notable, to say the least. The media is trying so hard to stop calling it the Texas heartbeat law. because that's what it is, right? And you see them do this all the time, right? There'll be a name that comes out with a piece of legislation or law that everybody's talking about and they don't like it. So they'll change it to something else, even though nobody else is calling it that. And over time, they can have that impact. So you see them doing that here, right? They sort of called it heartbeat law at the beginning because, they wanted to make sure people knew what they were talking about. And then when they realized that narrative, in my opinion, wasn't working and the left was complaining, I saw it all over social media. Stop calling it the heartbeat law. That's not fair. And making the suggestion that the baby, it's not even clear if a baby really has a heart. And that's what you're hearing. That's some kind of echo on a sonogram machine. I mean, all these wild and ridiculous statements center around the fact that everyone gets it. We understand that if you have a beating heart, there's life. And if you're stopping a beating heart, that is death. That is taking a life. And that is such a strong, and not that it's about whether or not it's strong or not. It's just true. Okay. It's not hard to understand. People connect with it just instinctively. So look, I expect that to get overturned very quickly, but in the meantime, it doesn't mean that the heartbeat law is not still in effect. We're grateful for the way the bill was written in order to be in that type of position, but we need to continue to educate people. Over 5,500 lives have been saved with the heartbeat law. Other states are considering it. Check out texasheartbeatlaw.com, the website we have set up with a lot of information and resources. But also want to say too, as I was mentioning, continue to consider investing in our work. Our budget's about $1.7 million. Go to txvalues.org. Make a tax deductible donation today. As a matter of fact, we got a great event coming up. Do you know who Eric Metaxas is? He's only a #1 best-selling author with several books. He is going to keynote the Texas Values Gala on November 6th in Houston. We're going to have a lot of other friends there. We're going to give out some awards. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a lot to celebrate, a lot to look forward to, but we're going to hope to raise some money too and hope that Eric Metaxas gets you real excited about some of the work we're doing and the things that he's been involved in. Go to txvalues.org. Get those tickets today. The gala is on November 6th in Houston, the Faith, Family, and Freedom Gala. We're going to have a good time. I need to check my time real quick. How am I doing on time? 2 minutes left. Okay, I'm in good shape. So we do a gala every year. Usually we rotate and alternate, if you will, between Houston and Dallas. So there'll be an event in Dallas, but it'll by the design be a little bit smaller scale. It'll be at lunch on December 8th. And we haven't announced our keynote speaker then, but we are set for December 8th from 11:30 to 1 if you want to start getting your tickets for that event in Dallas-Fort Worth. But the bigger one and the one that's coming up very soon in less than 30 days is the Faith, Family, and Freedom Gala in Houston. I believe it's at the Westin Memorial City. Beautiful hotel. We had events there before, just gorgeous at night as well. And as you start getting to this time of year, sometimes they'll have it dressed up for Christmas or some nice Thanksgiving stuff. Could be a great night, stay the night, have some breakfast in the morning, or go over to Memorial City Mall, go to the Galleria, wherever you want to go around that area and have a good time. I know a little bit about Houston, grew up, born and raised in H-Town. And so we'll see how the Astros are doing this weekend. But November 6th, Faith, Family, and Freedom Gala. Eric Metaxas is going to be our keynote speaker. And look, a lot's going to happen between now and then. We're going to have a special session wrapped up. So we'll have some updates. But we have probably had one of the busiest years that we've had in quite some time. And we need to raise some money that night and continue to be strong for that next battle going into next year. We're going to have a lot of our resources exhausted because there's a constitutional amendment election protecting religious freedom. You've got to vote for Prop 3. Okay, that's November 2nd, our state constitutional amendment. We got to make it permanent in our state constitution that a government can never close a church or shut down a religious organization for any reason. So that's going to be on November 2nd. We'll be talking more about that at the gala. But Eric Metaxas headlining the Texas Values Gala, November 6th. This event sells out every year. Do not wait until the last minute. People always come and, they'll come the day before the event, almost knocking on your door. Got any tickets left? Sorry, sold out. Don't wait. Get one of those tickets towards the front. Have a great time. Check it out. txvalues.org is the website where you can learn not only about our gala on November 6th with Eric Metaxas, but you can learn more about the work that we're doing for faith, family, and freedom in the state of Texas. And we'll talk to you next week on the Texas Values Report.